Here are some black facts that you probably didn't know. What's up, you guys? It's Bry's son, and I'm back with another freaking video. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel if you're new. I'm Bryson, you guys. Nice to meet you. So today we're about to be reacting to some Black Facts Slavery Edition to basically learn more about our heritage. Now, if you're not black, well, you're on this channel, you're trying to learn about black people. So basically, you my cousin, okay? Shout out to you. But I do want to say happy Black History Month to all my black African Americans out there. It's time to celebrate us. And what better way to celebrate us than to review some black facts that we probably didn't know. Slavery Edition. Now, trigger warning. These facts are deep, okay? So you might get a little emotional, or you might just be gagging the whole video like I was when I first seen it. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So you guys, I seen this girl on my page, on my Instagram page. Her name is Genesis Alea. And baby, she is coming through with that heat and letting us know some things that you probably didn't learn in school, because I know I didn't for a fact. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
Black facts you probably didn't know. Slavery edition. The first slaves arrived in Virginia in 1619. Yes, 1619. But slavery went on for centuries. Thomas Jefferson owned over 600 slaves, including his own children, to quote-unquote save money, but yet he's still being printed on money. A lot of young black slaves had something done to them called a castrated. For those of you that don't know what getting castrated means, it basically means you get your genital areas snipped, bye-bye, so you cannot make any children. And I'm talking about the whole genital area, not just one part. 6 out of 10 of those young black men bled literally until they were unalive during those procedures. Sagging pants originally started because slaves had to wear their pants below their butt to let the homosexual slave owners know that they had already been buck broken to be exact. For those of you that don't know what buck broken is, look it up. It's disgusting. That's why as a black woman, no, I will not just get over slavery. Yes, it happened many years ago, but it didn't happen that long ago. The trauma from slavery is still existing to this day. Don't ever think it's not.
Now, wait a damn minute. Thomas Jefferson. So he's getting printed. I think Thomas Jefferson is on the $10. No, that's Abraham Lincoln. Thomas Jefferson, is that on the $20? I don't even know. Only know the blues, honey. But that's crazy how he was literally a slave master selling slaves for money, and he's getting praised years and years later and being able to be on money. Why Martin Luther King is not on the dollar bill yet? Can we switch out Thomas Jefferson for Martin Luther King? And I don't know which fact was worse, the men getting their stuff cut off or getting booty played. And I'm pretty sure what she mean by the little butt thing is probably men getting, you know, stuff in they behind. Trifling. That is trifling. And then people try to make me believe that gay is just now a new thing. And there was white slave owners literally doing gay homosexual things to black slaves. This is sick, y'all. Let's continue to the next fact.
Black facts you probably didn't even know. Slavery edition, part 2. Let's run it. There were punishments designed specifically for pregnant enslaved women. Pregnant. They thought that they were helping an unborn child by forcing the mother to lay in a pit with her stomach in the pit and her back still exposed to get her punishment. Mind you, they designed the pit specifically just for that. The word mother plucker stems from black male slaves being forced to do relations with their mothers in order to avoid being unalived or punished brutally. Now that fact right there, it just, I feel my ancestors, I feel really like my heart for real. Slaves who dared to speak up to their masters suffered in a punishment called the Iron Mask. The purpose of the Iron Mask was so that slaves literally had an iron mask covering their face so they could not eat or drink or taste anything, barely breathing, mind you, until the master felt like it was time for them to do those things. Vast majority of the White House was built by slaves. While we're talking about babies, The average weight for a newborn enslaved baby was only 5.5 pounds, which means the mother wasn't being fed much.
That is sick. Like, to think back in the day that white people was literally starving black women that were pregnant. Not only were they carrying, like, you're carrying a whole life inside of them, and you're so malicious just because they're black that you're not going to feed them. And then I never knew about mother effer or mother feather meant that black men had to do stuff with their mother. That was torture. So you're telling me basically just because the person was black, they had to go through all that kind of torture back in the day? No shit. I kind of see why she's not letting this go, because I never learned this in school. Like, in the comments right now, did y'all learn this in school? I never learned the meaning of mother feather or whatever she said. And I never heard about the cast iron mask, a mask that they put on slaves' face where they couldn't eat or drink and barely could breathe. Really? And we don't even learn none of this in school, y'all. Mind y'all. Am I tripping, y'all? Let me know if I'm tripping. Let me know in the comments down below if y'all learned this in school. I never heard this ever before my good sis Alea said it. Let's continue, y'all, because she was not playing.
Black facts you probably didn't even know. Slavery edition. Part 3. Let's keep running it. Today we talking about breeding farms. Yes, breeding farms.
Breeding farms for humans? Let me continue. I don't want to, y'all, I'm trying my best to play the video all the way through before I get my commentary. But bitch, breeding farms, like the things that they do for dogs.
Slave farms were created after the abolishment of the Atlantic slave trade, which means this was their new way of making sure they had slaves in every plantation. They never wanted to run out, so they started breeding them. Slave owners literally waited to find out when a young girl started her menstrual cycles just so she could be bred. Slave owners picked who had relations with who. It didn't matter if you was married or not. They compared body and genetic physiques and placed such and such together to breed. And by the way, they would lock you in a black room with bags over your head and tell you until you show up pregnant, we're gonna come in here every day and slash you 30 times a day. Which means no baby, no out. And they would punish you. Oftentimes, women were promised freedom if they had bred 15 times successfully for each breeding farm. But that doesn't mean that they got let go freely. That's why when they say get over slavery, I look at them up and down and look away. Because no, I will never get over slavery. And a lot of you black people in America right now, if you run back to ancestry.com, it could lead back to a breeding farm. You never know. I suggest you go check. This history is crazy.
Damn, she making me want to get on ancestry.com and find my heritage, because I don't even know. But that's so sad, y'all. Do y'all not know how sickening that is? I'm over here getting emotional. Y'all, you know me, I'm a crybaby. Like, and this is so sad because I feel like I know this stuff is true. Like, even though I didn't learn this from school, and technically this is a random girl on the internet, even if it, like, I don't know, just the thought of this being true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true. But just the thought is making me emotional. Like, that is some sick, sad shit. And bitch, I'm really getting emotional over here. Let me continue, y'all, before I be on this video crying. I'm not trying to cry. Let me continue.
Black facts you probably didn't know. Slavery edition. Part 4. Let's keep on running it. Black women were used as test dummies for open surgeries with no anesthesia because they wanted to find out about the female body. A lot of those women that were used as basically test dummies were unalived slowly during the surgery procedures. Sometimes slave masters would exchange their slaves for rum, sugar, and tobacco. Basically, they were looked at as a good that you can just trade off some property you can get something else for. Oh, and it didn't matter if you had a family or not. If they wanted to trade you for that tobacco in Virginia, you were going to Virginia and leaving your family. Women's slaves' bodies were exposed during auctions, slave auctions to be exact, to be sold off and looked at as selling points. Yes, selling points. Oh, and they did the men the same way. The Atlantic slave trade lasted for over 4 centuries. So in other words, it lasted more than 400 years, okay? And then boom, once they weren't able to do that anymore, they were smuggling in slaves, and then they created breeding farms. Go to my breeding farm video, which is part the part before this video and go see what they did to people in the breeding farms, y'all. It's disgusting. I will never stop teaching this because I feel like everybody needs to know this part of America is very dark, and it needs to be exposed and it needs to be looked at instead of pushed to the side, looked over, gotten over. We need to look at this so history don't repeat itself.
Wow. Because, like, I feel like people don't understand. I see why she's so passionate about letting people know the black facts, especially specifically about slaves. Because I feel like if y'all put yourself in their shoes, especially as black people, imagine you in Africa, or because, you know, people try to make jokes about being from Africa and stuff all the time. Imagine you being from Africa, or even if you was born on American soil, right, in a breeding farm. Imagine basically because you're black, you're getting auctioned off, and it's based on your body type. Like, imagine, because there's a lot of kids. There's like a lot of kids and stuff, like black people who are born with muscles, born with six packs. And there's a lot of African women who's born with BBL bodies. You know, the bodies that everybody want. If you go to Africa, well, I've never been to Africa, so I don't know for sure. But I've heard if you go to Africa, a lot of women's like back in Africa and over there on them, you know, on the other continent, Africa or whatever. In those countries, I heard that the women are naturally built curvy with big butts. So imagine you being from Africa, right? And you're blessed with these good genes that you got a nice body, genes that you like slim and you got a good, you know what I'm saying, body shape. And based on that, that's how much your worth is. That is sick. So basically, black people was a form of money. Essentially, like, here, I'm going to give you a black slave and you give me some wine. Imagine our old ancestors basically getting sold for alcohol. Alcohol, y'all. That is insane. That is freaking insane, y'all. Let's continue, y'all, because she got a whole bunch. We ain't gonna go through all her videos, so let me know if y'all want a part 2 to this video, but let's watch a few more.
Black facts you probably didn't know. Part 5, Slavery Edition. Like I said, we gonna keep running it. Today we're gonna be chit-chatting about slave ships, y'all. Buckle in, because it's finna be a ride. Because it took weeks to months to reach the United States, the captain and others in the ship that ran the ship grew certain urges. Yes, urges. So you know what they did? They would force relations with the young female slaves and the older female slaves. So if you was young, they would have probably did it with you too. They did not care. They had insurance policies on slaves, y'all. Yes, insurance policies, like the one you have on your car. Yeah. The purpose of the insurance policy was to ensure that they would be recompensated in case something happened to their slave while they were being transported from Africa to the United States. Mind you, I think like 6 out of 10 slaves didn't survive the ship conditions from point A to point B. Slaves were laid out in the ship decks, shoulder to shoulder, for weeks to months, y'all. Weeks to months, mind you, because it took weeks to months to get to the United States. So this was boat conditions, weeks to months, not being fed. Okay. It's feces and throw up and sweat everywhere. And this is how they were put in them ships, weeks to months, like livestock, basically. I actually think livestock get treated better than the way we did, but hey. So no, I will not just get over slavery. I'm going to keep saying that, and I'm going to say it again and again and again. And y'all can't keep me from...
Wow, little black girls. And if you don't know what relations is, which I feel like if you're watching this video, baby, you should be mature. But basically, y'all are doing sexual things with little black girls. Thankfully, we learned about slave ships. But good thing that we learned about slave ships in school. You know, I didn't learn about them, you know what I'm saying, doing sexual things with girls on the ship, babies and women. They don't tell us about that part. They just told us about the conditions, which the conditions on the ships, if y'all don't know about slave ships, are horrific. They're basically in the bottom of a ship, right? And there's slaves on top of slaves on top of slaves just land there and poop, throw up, body odors. Like, yeah, body odors ain't nothing new, baby. That's been a thing. So imagine you land in somebody else's shit. Throw up. Piss. For months at a time, y'all. We ain't talking days, no. Even days. But we're talking months. If y'all don't understand, Africa and America is on like two different sides of the world or the globe, whatever you want to call it. So imagine being on a ship where people's dead. You're laying around with people that could be like the person beside you could be dead, and you're laying behind dead bodies, shit, piss, throw up. Like imagine that for a week, y'all. Not getting fed, barely any oxygen. That is insane. And like she said, livestock probably had better transportation than us. Y'all, that's crazy. Animals got treated better than slaves. Well, black people. I don't even want to call them slaves. Well, there are slaves, but it's like, if take away the word slaves, because I feel like the word slave alone, I'm not gonna say that calms it down, but let's just not sugarcoat it. And let's not sugarcoat it to slaves. Black people, human beings, y'all, humans getting treated like this. This is crazy, y'all. Let's watch another one, y'all. Let's keep running it like she said.
Black facts you probably didn't know. Slavery edition. Part 6. Let's run it. If a pregnant enslaved black woman got caught running away, they would force the A word on her and then do it with sticks. Yes, with sticks. You heard me correctly. George Washington really didn't have no teeth. He stole his teeth from slave people that have been unalived. Or some that were alive still. He took their teeth and put it in his mouth like they were dentures. Slave owners used to place unalive slave heads above the soil just enough to pour syrup on it so that the ants could eat it. Now that fact right there, y'all, it is just disgusting. I don't even see what they were thinking. You know what I mean? There was a game where slave owners would dig a hole big enough to fit a young child in there, a slave child in there. Then they would let the head hang out the soil and let their children kick the head until it fell off. Now, that's why I'm not getting over it. Like I say every video, I'm not getting over it. And it gets worse, y'all. It gets worse.
That's insane. Let that sink in, y'all, what she just said. Dead human heads, pouring syrup on it just so the ants could eat it. They didn't even have enough respect for black people to bury them fully. That is sick. And then, y'all, I'm reading the comments, y'all, because I just pressed the comments. Somebody in the comments said a white NICU nurse was just discovered breaking the bones of black babies just last week. So, y'all, these may be old slave facts that happened back in the day, but there's slavery, like, low-key, there's more just modern-day slavery now. Like, low-key working some of these jobs are literally low-key, low-class slavery work where you just getting crumbs and a little bit of money just to cover it up as a job. Slavery and segregation still exist to these days, y'all. While a lot of people, a lot of black people, a lot of people in general, you feel like, slavery happened so long ago. Why are we still talking about it? Why are we dragging it out? But y'all got to realize, in different ways, we're still dealing with segregation. We're still dealing with discrimination. We're still dealing with forms of slavery to this day. But y'all, I'm going to end it at part 6. I'm not going to drag it out because, bitch, I almost started crying. I'm really trying not to cry because I don't like crying on camera. I ain't trying to be one of them TikTokers. Okay, I mean YouTubers. But let me know in the comments down below if you learned something new. Let me know in the comments down below if you knew any of this prior to this video. I personally only knew about slave ships. That's all. Everything else was new information for me. Let me know if it's new information for y'all. And let me know if y'all want a part 2 to this video. Happy Black History Month. And make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I drop content 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And sometimes I'm going to start dropping a little more during the week. But make sure y'all just like, comment, subscribe, y'all. And let me know in the comments down below if y'all want a part 2. I love y'all so much. Stay blessed, and I'm out. Bye.